We shouldn't wait him. Hello. Welcome to our movie club. It's a postponed class, so today we are going to discuss again, not again. We're going to discuss the same movie, K-19, The Widowmaker. It's a pretty old movie. I forgot exactly what year it was.
2002.
2002. Yeah, pretty old one. I watched it a few times. It's kind of scary if you believe in all this nuclear things. how you can, yeah.
How realistic is it from a Russian point of view, Ivan? Do they act like Russians and do things that Russians would do?
Yeah, pretty much. So there are not many. Well, we will discuss it, but it's believable. In this case, it's very believable, and it's probably because I think that movie is good. It's not like Russians playing balalaika and doing funny things, but something real at least.
Okay.
Okay, so what about the characters? Whoa, can you please introduce us to the crew?
Alexei Voshnikov was the captain.
Okay.
Mikhail Polinin was officer.
First, I don't know how we call it. First lieutenant, first officer, teacherly. The assistant of captain, the
XO usually.
XO.
XO.
It's a acronym.
Executive officer.
Executive officer. Who else?
Vadim Radchenko.
What was his position, Vadim Radchenko?
Officer.
He was like a kind of a scientist. I don't know. He was like a guy who is in charge of reactor, of nuclear reactor.
Yes.
No Americans, right? In this movie.
Only the actors were American.
Yeah, but I mean the characters. So my offer, I know that these names, Russian names, they can be kind of hard to pronounce or something. Polikov, Vostrikov. So we can use just captain and first lieutenant, XO. So what is more comfortable for you, please? Okay, well, someone else who you forgot? Someone important for the story?
No.
I remember there was a doctor, right? But maybe he's not so important. I forgot his name. Okay, so let's start with the story. Gerard, what was special about this K-19?
It was the flag, the main vessel, flag wing. How do you call the main vessel of a navy? Flag wing or something?
Flagship?
The flagship, the flagship of the Russian Navy.
The best of the best.
The best of the best. This submarine was made with the purpose of having the capacity to carry nuclear missiles, to be close to the American shore. So in case that America started a war, they could retaliate.
Okay.
But this submarine was done in a very rush, too fast, and the captain, the first officer, so the character done by Polinin actually was the captain of the submarine, but he wasn't happy, and the bosses of the Russian bosses relieved him to the other captain, Bostrikov, instead.
So I think I got something in different way. So speaking about operate quietly off the coast of USA. So I think it was the first nuclear submarine or the first huge nuclear submarine, something like this. So their mission was to be hidden for months, for a long time, so that American or everyone lost track of them. Like with
okay.
for sure. So they go there and they always like on their own for years. They go under the ice of North Ocean and then arrive somewhere. So that was the reason. And another thing that the submarine was pretty new. It was like experimental ship. They did not know what to expect exactly. Prototype, right?
Yeah.
And another thing, there is like a kind of intrigue, can I say intrigue or something? So a plot between two captains. So there was a like real captain who became to be executive officer, and another one who was in charge because of politics. So they put him there because he was, what we say in Russia, he was with a right mind. So he obeyed to the party and all these things. He was a like loyal guy to government. Yeah. So, and he replaced executive officer on his place. So all the sailors, all the crew was unhappy about this. So it was a new guy who arrived here. No one likes him, and he became a captain. So it's like a setting. It's what we have, like our circumstances.
Okay.
Vasants, can we start with the plot? What happened?
Yes, from the beginning, the crew was doing drills. Everybody is checking everything, and the submarine is consist. How to say that? It consists so many compartments. So so many people were appointed as in charge for every compartment. So they had to check with all the settings in those compartments. But every time they failed, they were given a task, but they failed in the last time. They couldn't complete that within the expected time. So it was, the failure was continuously happening. So the new captain was not satisfied with their performance. So he was making them, yeah.
Can I interrupt you? To say it politely, right? He wasn't he was not happy about it because supposedly it was the best crew in the Russian Navy. So they took like everyone. Do you remember the previous movie, Down Periscope? It was the worst crew. This one was the best, but they never like communicated with each other, never worked together. So, and the submarine was new, so they could not succeed in anything. And captain trained them again, and it created conflict between crew, executive officer, and captain, because everyone thought that it's like too much of training. So we are tired, we cannot do anything, we only train without sleeping. And also, Vasants, do you remember this training was kind of cruel, right? So he started, there was a fire, teacher Lee, can you imagine, like real fire, so real accident, and captain started training despite this like accident, just to add salt to injury.
Wow.
So there is a real fire, people are dying, and he started, okay, we are diving, ready how to say, alarm, ready to launch the missile. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it was
we'd cancel the exercise immediately. This is not a drill. Fire. This is not a drill.
he did it in a different way. He started a drill when they had a fire. So it was very much.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So many like crew thought that he crossed the border, crossed the line. He's insane. And they, do you remember, officers, they started to go to executive officers and told him, it's your submarine, not this stupid guy, it's yours. And Vasants, do you remember they changed doctor and they changed nuclear guy just before first mission? Do you remember this? Why?
Yes. The doctor was hit by a truck because he was expecting a medicine. They forgot the medicine, so he was running after the truck, shouting at them like, you forgot the important medicine. So because once they got into the water, they couldn't come back. So he was stalking them all. So unfortunately, he was hit by another truck, so he died right there. But then the crew needed a doctor, so the captain appointed another physician. I think he doesn't know about. He's not a doctor. I think he.
So I can add some context. So this navy, it's based far away on the north of the Russia. So there is no like civilian personnel or someone. You cannot get another guy if you need it, if you need him. There is no one. So he got just a paramedic from this military base and said, "You will be our doctor. So let's go with us." So it was not trained guy. It was just a paramedic from a military base. not equal replacement, I would say. Okay, what about the nuclear engineer?
And the nuclear engineer was sleeping, snoring inside the submarine. So the captain saw him while he was sleeping. So he got angry and he immediately fired him because of his carelessness. But the actual previous captain, the executive officer, recommended him. He begged for him, but he didn't care it. He changed the guy.
So he was a good engineer, good specialist. He was on his place, but was caught not only sleeping, but he was caught drunk, right? And that was the reason for captain. You are drunk, far away, go away from my submarine. I cannot let you be there.
Was he removed from the submarine or just removed from his duty?
Removed from submarine. It was before the mission.
Okay.
And they got. Do you remember who was replacement? Oh, let me ask Jorgen. Jorgen, do you remember who was a replacement for this nuclear guy?
No, I'm bad at remember this.
Yeah, but it's not important his name. What is important that he was just a student.
Okay, yeah. He's him. Yeah. Okay.
Could you describe him?
He was light hair, quite muscular. No, not muscular, but
I would say he was neat, or something. Yeah. He was in a form.
Yeah, not little more than normal. Okay, stocky, solid. Yeah. I don't remember much, but
what I would say about him that he was a new guy. He was actually a student. He had zero experience, and he was the best of the best in all his course. But he was just a student, and he was the only possible replacement for experienced engineer. Wow, it's something strange. And he got a command. He was in charge of reactor now. Leila, have you heard that people should drink when they are exposed to radiation? Have you known
I didn't know that, really?
No, I don't know. It's a Russian stereotype, probably.
Oh, I don't know. But I was going to ask you something. And Teacher Lee wrote that they were performing poorly. Did they do that on purpose or?
No, it was a new submarine. And they didn't know each other. So they were unfamiliar with each other, unfamiliar with the submarine. So when they were told to do things, they didn't coordinate. They didn't know where things were or exactly how to make things work.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they weren't trained properly for this exact job. So they knew something, but not about this submarine, not about this crew. So they have to find their way. But speaking of alcohol, I don't know what about nowadays, but in the former days in Russia, in Soviet Union, we really believed that some small doses of alcohol helps you to protect you from radiation. Probably it's a myth. It should not be true, right? But at that time, crews of submarine, crews of ships with nuclear reactors, they officially got some wine every day, 3 times a day, I don't know. So as far as I understand, that's the reason why nuclear engineer was drunk. Maybe he got his doses and someone else wine. So it's a mistreat, right? It's a bad things to do, but I don't know. It was
maybe true you want, we don't know.
Well, I don't know, but it's true that as far as I know, on a Russian submarine we still have wine in your lunch. Yes, teacher, we don't hear you.
Yeah, we don't allow alcohol on a submarine at all.
Yeah, somehow we have red wine, like 3 glasses of red wine is yours if you own submarine.
Wow.
Maybe to support Spain or Italy, I don't know, because we don't have own wine.
I'll be done.
Okay, so the crew is pretty like fresh, not experienced, and they fail a lot. They cannot succeed with this training and all these things. And what kind of missions they got, Gerard? Do you remember?
I think they need to go first. They tried immersion to 300 meters was the top, the limit, and then they went to the North Sea in a frozen sea, so they should go to the surface very fast and then to shoot a missile.
Yeah.
So missile, not a real one.
I think it was real one, but the target was somewhere in Russia.
But
So,
without nuclear.
yes, without so real missiles, but they shoot only like how we call it, usually training target.
Yeah, we call it a dummy missile
Dummy missile. Okay.
or a
So-
dud missile. Yeah.
So idea was that they will like sink and travel under the ice. So when allegedly you cannot find them, and then they broke the ice, shoot and dive again. So like from nowhere, then shoot, then disappear again.
What
Yep.
I'm surprised about is how could missiles at this time orientate to go to a specific place in 1961
Without global position system and all
and
this.
without computers.
I'm not sure, but I think they had gyroscopes in those days, so they knew if what angle it was pointing at and stuff. And I think they just used back and forth communications to constantly plot its position. So it was kind of crude back then. And now, we can probably hit right on the the spot. But back then it was probably plus or minus a few miles. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe it's okay for nuclear missile. That's huge. Maybe it's okay. A few miles, not important. And I in speaking about this, like automated pointed system, or how we call it, I don't know. Usually, how we call this system that that gyroscopes. Okay, but I'm thinking about modern one. How we call it?
What do you call it? Global positioning system
GPS.
or satellite navigation.
And that device that inside the missile, inside the rocket, computer
Usually-
probably.
Well, usually it's gyroscopes that feed, a computer system that sends the signals back and forth. I'm pointing up, I'm pointing this way, I'm pointing this way. The gyroscope tells the computer its orientation in space, and the computer can project where it's gonna go.
Yes, what I was about to say is that in Russia and Soviet Union at that time we were obsessed by automated navigation system. We never trusted to pilot, never. So we never trust to pilot. So it always was automated. For instance, Gagarin and his spacecraft, he was fully automated, and all these spaceships, they were fully automated. So never drive by pilot, always like by system, by some navigation system. So that's why we have this mechanics from all times. So our missiles, they always automated. Don't know why.
Okay, we call it autopilot, I guess, is what you're looking for.
Yes, autopilot. So we never trust the pilot. So if pilot gets the commands, we consider it like a accident. So something bad happens. So
Yeah.
okay. So Vasant, did they succeed in this training, in their mission?
No, because during their mission, the nuclear, say that.
No.
What is that? The name of the nuclear core?
The missile, the warhead.
Nuclear reactor, right? Engine.
Reactor, yeah.
The reactor.
The nuclear reactor had a leak somewhere. So they found it. So they had to repair as they are on boarding. They could not invite anybody else, so they had to manage on their own. So
Okay, let me correct you a little bit. So as far as I got it, they like succeeded with their mission. So they launched rockets, everything were fine, and they like had a conversation with the central commandment, and they said, "We are happy, you are good. So go to beach of America, coast of America, and start your mission, start your duty." And they started it, and during the like journey, during the trip, somewhere around Europe, Gerard, if I'm right, some NATO base or something around it, they found that some detectors, or how we call some counters of radiation, shows too much. So they started to research and found that because they like broke the ice by submarine, something bad happened with the reactor. So the temperature of reactor core is rising, and they can do nothing with this. And Radchenko, student who is in charge of reactor, has no idea. So looks like a bad situation, right? Jart, what they started to do with this?
Yes. So the reactor coolant pipe burst. So the reactor wasn't cool, and they needed to cool that. And also, the submarine should have a backup system, but they didn't have time because they were in a rush to build so quickly. So they forgot to put that. So instead, they thought to bring water from the submarine, clean water, to refrigerate the reactor. But that was very dangerous also because they didn't have suits. Instead of suits to prevent people from radiation, they had raincoats.
Yeah, they had nothing. They had no backup systems. They had no protection suits. They had nothing because they were like they had a hard deadline. They have to meet hard deadlines. Like in 1st January we are starting. So no one cares what you are ready or not. We are starting. Usual Soviet approach. Nobody cares. Yeah.
Now, something that may confuse people that you want to be clear is there's two kinds of danger from radioactivity. Radiation is like sunlight. You can't see it. It travels through the air. It travels through your clothes. It goes through your body. We can't block it unless we have a lead shield in front of us. So if you just walk in to a radioactive area, you're getting radiation, and a raincoat's not going to stop it. Only a few inches of metal is going to protect you from radiation like sunlight. The other kind of radiation that can hurt you is not really radiation, it's radioactivity. Is like if it's a dust or a powder that can get on your skin, and that radiation goes right into your body up close and can cause extreme damage to your cells. So what you see in the movies when they wear yellow suits, all that does is that keeps the dust from getting into their skin. But if you've got a reactor giving off radiation like sunlight, there's no protection for that.
Right. Well, they tried to use suits against like chemical attacks or something, so they were protected from dust.
From the water getting on their skin. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. They were protected, but they was not protected by this lead, metal, or something. So they got the radiation. I don't know how we call it, level or something. So they started to build a new system, right? They start to melt some pipes to create like a backup system to deliver water to this core, right? And there were some sailors, some like officers who were volunteers, if I'm right. I don't remember. And Radchenko, the one who is in charge of reactor, he was scared, right? He said, I will not go there. you do it without me. And they put the rest of the team on the like they were on the surface, and they the rest of the team was sitting on the surface, like on the board, to be like to have a maximum distance from the reactor. That was the idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Jörgen, do you remember this moment?
No,
No.
you talk very fast, Ivan, for me, for my ears.
You just
I
lost this habit.
just make a note of your last sentence.
Read the chat. I kind of type little notes in the
Yeah.
chat area.
Yeah,
try to do that.
reading that. I'm reading and I feel as if I had watched the film.
Well,
I
sounds,
was gonna ask you, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Ivan.
please.
Lee wrote that meltdown could happen if not controlled. What could be the result of this meltdown if not controlled?
Blast, right?
Extreme radiation.
Okay.
It can actually get so hot, it would actually melt through the metal and melt through the bottom of the submarine and make a big hole in the submarine.
Okay.
We used to have back in our early days, World War II, when we first invented nuclear reactors, or
Okay.
after that, but when we first invented a nuclear reactor, we believed that if the reactor core melted down, it would basically fission out of control and get like as hot as the sun, and it would literally melt through anything below it, and it would melt its way down through the earth and come out in China.
Wow.
So we call that the China syndrome. There was a movie called the China syndrome where a meltdown just gets extremely hot and extremely radioactive, and it can kill anybody within close to even
Okay.
probably 100 yards away. It could probably irradiate and kill you shortly.
Thank you, Lee. Thanks.
It's a good question, Leila, because it makes us more understand the continuation of the movie. So
So
they will.
after these kind of movies, I'm going to go and ask to be a Navy officer. Learning a lot.
So another problem that existed at that moment was they lost like network. They lost ability. They lost antenna. I remember this. Or during the break in the ice, so they could not communicate with the central base. They could not say that we have a problem. They have like no options, or go back to the base, and it will take weeks. They said be using only energy of battery without reactor. It will took weeks to get back, and from this for these weeks, everyone will be dead just by radiation. They could not call to the central base because they don't have the antenna, and what they should do. So, Vasans, do you remember there was a helicopter, right? So when they were on the surface, they noticed a helicopter. What happened?
Yes, they thought that it was a Russian helicopter, but it turned out to be the U.S. Navy helicopter. So they stopped their cheering and they were muttering with among them. Then the captain, the executive officer, was recommending to ask help from the U.S. Navy because they had their ship, I think, warship nearby them. So he thought it was better to ask help, but the CEO, is that right? The captain, he refused to ask help from the US Navy, so that there was a conflict between them. So it took more time during this decision making. It took more time, and the damage was more severe.
Yeah. So, and they started to dive again, right? They said, crew, get back, and we are diving. And it was like a tense moment between CEO, captain, and executive officer. But because executive officer say, we are all going to die now. So if we cannot evacuate the crew, we are all going to dive. What captain said? What was the captain reason? Why he commanded to dive? Gerard, do you understand his reasoning?
Why?
Captain? of captain. Yes, why he refused to get help from Americans and go in.
Because he wanted to solve the problem and going down in case the submarine exploded, because they have also the nuclear missile, so the Americans could think that that was a nuclear threat, you know, and that could retaliate and send bombs to Russia, to the Soviet.
Yeah, it was so yes. Usually, it wasn't about honor. It wasn't about be proud. He said, "What if something bad happened, and American will think that we attacked them by nuclear? So what will happen at the moment?" So they tried to let we all die inside the ocean, and we will not attack American ship. So it will not be like seen as attack for US. So
the CO actually had a good thought.
Yep.
Okay.
But we overcame a moment of mutiny again, right? I don't know whom to ask. Gerard, could you please explain why it's happened, the mutiny on the ship?
So most of the crew liked more, you know, the second captain than the first one. The first one, it was thought it was here in this to get some reputation, because his father was an important man of the revolution, but then ended his days in a gulag. Maybe Stalin put him because Stalin didn't like people that could shadow him. Maybe it was Stalin. And it was very strict. And the captain cared more about the people than the mission of the homeland, you know, where the people are first. So the two members of the crew, was the one that in charge of the from the political party, you know, and the other was a chief of machines or something, or another chief. They did a mutiny with the weapons. They have some weapons, and they wanted to relieve the captain to the second captain, but eventually the second captain gave the command to the first one.
Yeah, so it was a mutiny and it was succeed. So second, like, executive officer got the power, but what he did after he did the power, actually he said, "I understand why you're doing all this. Get your power back," you know. So and arrest those who arrested captain. So it was a double mutiny, you know, back and forth. And speaking of Star Trek, Ticheli, do you remember once you said the doctor on Star Trek is very important because he can abandon the power of captain?
Right.
It was the same situation. Like this officer from political party, he has the same mission. He was looking after the captain in case if he's a traitor or if he's doing something nonsense. He has a power to
certify him unfit for command.
Yes, unfit for command. So and he did. He said, "So your actions are dangerous. So we distract you from command." But he got command back because at that moment everyone start to understand what is happening on. And there we go to my favorite moment. Because now everyone understands what is happening on. So there is a disaster possible. Like in any moment. So reactor can blow up. And actually the backup system that they created, it was destroyed. It got a leak again and reactor temperature went there. So they have a no-go situation. So reactor is about to blast. They have American ship around. They have no communication. So it was a tense moment. And where to start? So and captain, what he decided? I don't. He decided to. Gerard, correct me if I'm wrong. He decided to escape all the crew to this I don't know, inflatable ships, how we call them, rafts, and then
by rafts. Okay.
And then sink the submarine by his own. So he was like in suicide mission. He was prepared to this, and at that moment, Russian helicopters found them, right? And
no, I think you're wrong.
not helicopters, Russian plane found them. Russian plane found them and get information to central base of Russia. And in Russia, they said, just usually imagine the situation. It's very funny as it looks for me. So they said, the captain, he does not answer us. He doesn't answer us. But we see him and he's going to American ship. He's going around with American ship. What should we do? Very interesting. Jürgen, do you understand why Russian generals were upset about this situation?
No.
They thought he's a traitor. They thought he's going to give up the ship to Americans or
To
something.
defect.
To defect, yeah. So captain has no friends on this yours anymore. No reactor, no Americans, no Russian command, no one is going to help him. and there is a lucky event, right, Gerard? what happens?
But you didn't explain that they went down and they fixed the problem again. And the young officer, the nuclear young officer, actually was brave this time. Did fix the problem, wheeled the pipe, and even more time. He got a lot of radiation. So
yeah, he actually sacrificed himself. He got a little is it right? Little dose of radiation. Little dose of radiation, but he like saved the boat and the crew by fixing these pipes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So they went to the surface again, and luckily there was another Russian submarine, but by this way, diesel submarine, yes. But they at least could evacuate the crew, could save the crew. So they say it's a real story. I don't know how to believe it or not. So probably there are some documents. I never studied it, but it says it's based on a real story. But we know it can be pretty much changed. Yeah.
We don't know what happened with the K-19 submarine. Did they pick up the submarine? They fix it, or they sunk?
They pick. As far as I know, they like what's the word for this? When you grab someone, so they attach it to another submarine and.
Okay.
Towed it back.
Towed it back to Russian like port. So and it was fixed there. As far as I know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an expert. Yeah, so an intense story, Leila. A lot of like, how to describe it? A lot of hard decision. You never know what to do, and a lot of tension. And since every moment things go worse. You know, whatever you do, it will be worse on the next second.
Yeah, we say things go from bad to worse.
And what's the final episode of the movie? Jürgen, do you remember? Final episode? Final scene?
Final scene? No.
Vova, do you remember the final scene? What happened in the end of the movie? So the final scene was like 20 years after, on some graveyard. The crew meet each other and they all were saluting to captain, like, you saved us, you made the right decision. But captain, they said, I don't know, I never read any documents about that. Captain was under the tribunal and was justified. His action was justified. They said he was acting correctly or something. So he got no punishment, which is unusual for Soviet Union, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the whole story, I guess. Gerard?
I have a question for teacher Lee. What do you do to stop a nuclear reactor?
If it melts down, you've lost control. Normally, we have control rods that can go down into the reactor and slow it down or stop it. But when it starts overheating and melting, the rods no longer function. The rods will melt. So, yeah, it's too late at that point.
But what they do, the submarine was towed to Russia. So how was the situation of the nuclear reactor during this time?
Well, Ivan said that the new engineer fixed the problem. So I guess he stabilized the reactor.
It's what I think. They cooled it down, so the temperature, and they used these roads, as teacher Lee said, to stop the reaction.
Okay.
So they avoided a meltdown. Yeah.
Gerard, maybe it will be interesting for you. There is a series Chernobyl by HBO.
Yeah,
like,
I watched it. Yeah.
And in the final episode, they talk it a lot how to stop the reactor, how to start it. So it was the same procedure, I guess. So it's always the same kind of.
Just to give you an interesting aside, Westinghouse's new reactor design for a nuclear power plant. The reactor for Westinghouse is always inside of a big building. We call it a containment building. And the reactor's always at the lowest point. It's actually below ground level, kind of like in a basement in the building. So if worst comes to worst, or if worst comes to worst, we can actually flood the building and put the entire reactor underwater to keep it cool. And it will boil the water, and the water level will drop, and we have a huge tank on top that will continue filling the water or replacing the water by gravity. So if everything fails, gravity will flood the reactor, will cover it with water, and gravity will keep it underwater.
Yeah. Until gravity works, you are safe, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Please.
Go ahead.
Yeah. There was a man that looked at the couch from time to time. He
Counter,
Knock
right?
it, knock it,
count. Yeah.
Mhm.
He looked fishy. I don't know that. Why?
So in the reactor room, there were a lot of like Geiger counter, as teacher Lee wrote, and one of them was like broken or something. He showed like random numbers, and a sailor just to fix it, always knock it on it, and it showed another number. So it was a Russian way of fixing things,
Yeah.
Okay.
In the nuclear plant, we had the same thing. We're not supposed to hit it too hard because you can damage it. So we have what we call the calibrated tap. And the way you do it is you put your hand flat against the meter and you pull this finger back and you let go, and that's the calibrated tap. You're not supposed to hit it harder than that. It's kind of a joke, but
Yeah. I see. So I already shared my favorite moment. My favorite moment was when, Russian plane found them in an interesting situation and they were thinking, it was a so loyal guy. What is the hell going on? Why it's happening? And Admiral, the man in charge of the whole Navy, he was sitting and thinking what to do. It's our flagship. It's the best commander. And should we sink this on? Should we attack it? What should we do? It was my favorite situation. Vova, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
My favorite scene was when Vadim Radchenko saved all the crew.
Saved all the crew. So he went there, right? He sacrificed himself. Yeah. Do you remember he was a coward? He was a coward in the beginning. Do you remember this? He was. Do you think he was?
No.
Why not?
Because
he refused to go there. He said, no, it will kill me, right?
Was crying.
Was crying, right?
The first fight doesn't count.
The first fight doesn't count, yes. Yeah, it's a popular saying in Russia. We always say, so you can say if you are brave or not only on your second battle, not on the first one. On the first one, everyone is scared. I like this. Vasants, we just finished with the whole plot and we are talking about sorry for that. And we are talking about favorite scenes or favorite lines or anything. What you liked in the movie? Tell us, please.
Favorite lines. I think when the moment it was revealed that he is not a doctor, he was just a paramedic. That was shocking because I didn't know that he talked to him. Right, that was a startling revelation.
Actually, you reminded me a nice like dialogue between paramedic and captain. So captain was asking paramedic, can you cure them? Can you help them? So to the crew, and he said, I have no idea. I know nothing about radiation. I know nothing about how to help him. And what captain said, teacher Lee? He said, go there and say and tell them everything is going fine because who knows? Maybe it's so.
Yeah. Yeah. Err on the side of calmness.
I
You
like
can
this.
assume they're going to die or assume they're going to be okay. Tell them you assume they're going to be okay.
Because anyway, we don't know, right? So
Yeah.
I like this attitude. Leila, do you think it's correct attitude to say so?
I think yes, why not? It's logical.
But maybe I cannot say it's a humor in the situation, but the real situation was that people were really dying. So you can see that. So they were like burned by radiation. They were like dying they were blind. They were burned. So they were dying. And paramedics said, you are going to cure soon. So everything will be fine.
Ivan, how could you say, hey, you are gonna die soon?
Exactly. Yeah. It's impossible. Yeah. What's that?
We're doomed. We're all doomed.
Wasant, you were about to say something? No? No? Okay. Gerard, what is your favorite moment? Or what we missed?
I read, the real story, and compared to the movie, and this gauge was the gauge of the pressure, so this gauge didn't work.
Ah, okay.
The gauge worked properly, they would have found out that they had this problem with the pressure, that there was some welding that wasn't done properly.
I see.
That's the reason that the cooling lost, and everything.
Yeah.
It was done, the submarine was built in such a rush that they didn't do proper checking, without quality control.
No
Yeah.
QA. Yep.
Yeah. When we play with the powerful forces of nature, every small thing can break everything, right? So that's why we build backups and reserve systems and everything, but not when we have a deadline.
In a nuclear power plant, we actually have 4 meters for every parameter. Like pressure, we got 4 pressure meters, and they've all got different power supplies, and they're side by side. So if 1 meter fails or indicates incorrectly, you can immediately see 3 read 5 and 1 reads 1. So we try to make it obvious when a meter is failed in a nuclear power plant. It's that important. Yeah.
Yep, right. Jorgen, what about you? What did you like in the movie? What is your favorite moment or scene?
I like when the captain's arguing.
Yeah, it was a nice moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the captain, he was a pretty smart guy, I would say, and he had his reasons to behave so, but he never explained. He just commanded, we go there, do this, do that, and crew was not able to understand, to comprehend why it's happening. So for them, he was just a crazy, stupid maniac. So and then executive officer told him, don't command, explain, talk to them. And it worked. So I like it this moment. Before that, yes, he was a maniac. Okay. So did we miss something? Gerard, usually you are keeping track of this.
I don't think so.
Okay.
everything.
Okay. So we can go to the slides. I'm sure we can find a lot on them. Thank you, Vasant, for your slides as always. And I'm going to share the stop. I forgot how to share again. So 1 week without training and and I forgot what kind of button I have to. Okay, I found.
Share, the share button.
Yes. I have problem with my multi-monitor setup. It always wanted to share something else. Okay, the Widowmaker. We did not ask anyone. What is the Widowmaker? Whoa, what do you think? What does it mean? Widowmaker. Whoa, you're muted. You don't know, right? I understand. Okay, Jürgen,
I can, yeah.
please,
Okay.
please.
During the manufacturing of the submarine, many people died.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
Yeah,
Well,
Well,
but I think it's
not during manufacturing, during the operation. I mean,
uh-huh.
if they could all have died, right? If they had all died, then the submarine would have made widows out of all of their wives.
Yep.
So Widowmaker means it kills men and makes widows out of their wives. So it's not good, not a good meaning.
Yeah, not a good name for a submarine. Yes. If I said, Lieutenant Ivan, you are going to surf on the submarine called the Widowmaker, I would say no, thanks. I would like another one. Okay, the first slide. I cannot recognize. So let me describe it. So it's a dock, I guess, and it's called, correct me if I'm wrong, a dry dock. So it's without water. The submarine is there, and submarine is under building still. And it's interesting that construction and training of the team happens in the same time. So the half of the boat is still not ready, but team is already in the boat and getting some training. They're doing some exercises. It was interesting. And why we are seeing the small guy, I don't remember. Gerard, do you know?
Neither do I.
Yeah, just a random slide. Probably some civilian guy or something. And
Yvonne, you may find this interesting. When we train when I got my nuclear training to work in a nuclear power plant, or even to work in a submarine, we went to a place in Connecticut and we studied the theory. We read the books, studied the theory. They actually had the back half of a submarine on site that contained the reactor part, and we actually were trained on a real nuclear reactor in the back half of a submarine.
Yeah.
We didn't have simulators back then. We didn't have computer training. We had to have a real reactor right there, and we actually trained on a real reactor. So it was a little bit scary.
Yeah, but it's a good idea, right? Because it makes you responsible.
Yeah, real stress. Yeah.
Real stress. Yeah. Okay, let's go forward. So, Vova, would you please describe what is happening?
The captain.
His name was Vostrikov, right? Captain Vostrikov.
Vostrikov talk with another captain, and the another captain says the plan.
Okay, describe some things that you can see. What you can see on the picture.
The map.
Yep, the map. They're looking on the map. Map is very important for military, right? Because they are acting on the earth in the ocean and all these things. So look at the uniform of these guys. The captain is a guy who is staying on the left. It's a Vostrikov. He's about to get a command of this submarine, and the guys with a golden, how we call it, I forgot. Teacher Levy lost your sound again.
I'm not sure what we call that little golden thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but well, okay, just an insignia or just marks. I don't know.
Yeah.
It means that they are admirals. So these two guys who we can see, they are admirals, and they are like, I don't know. They ordering him. They giving him a mission, what to do. So they explaining them what is his mission. And his mission, can you see on the map? It's a what he is holding in his hand. It's a pointer.
Pointer.
Mhm. So
Pointer.
pointer is pointing to a Greenland, right? Or Iceland, how we call it? I don't know in English.
Greenland is the big one.
Greenland, okay. So the submarine goes there under the ice on the North Ocean and then goes to America coast. So looks like a secret action. I don't know, is it a real order or something, but it was his idea of mission. Okay, now there are two. Gerard, who are they?
The two captains. So one is Vostrikov, Harrison Ford, and Liam Neeson is Polonin.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be a executive officer, right?
Yes, so the officer, because he was actually the captain first, but because had a problem with the authorities, he was released. I don't know how to say that.
Demoted. Yeah.
Demoted to first officer.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a good relationship with the other captain.
Actually, it's not covered in the movie why they what was wrong with executive officer. They never covered it. They just said that the Vostrikov was like more loyal, more trust. They had more trust for them, so he was more eligible for flagship. That's all we know.
Mm-hmm.
So not really interesting. Gerard, what about this guy? What he's doing?
Yeah, this was the nuclear engineer, the one in charge of the nuclear reactor, who was found by the new captain drunk and sneezing in a lumber, and he was very disappointed, of course, because he was very strict and sent him away.
Yeah. And I can see a paper with some schemes, electrical scheme, looks to me.
We call those schematics.
Schematics, okay, schematics. And he is sleeping in a very uncomfortable position, I would say.
And Polonin said, okay, it was the first time that he's drunk. I don't know whether it was true or not, but he's very competent, he's very good, but Vostrikov didn't care about that.
So maybe it was a mistake, right? Maybe
the first impression counts.
Yeah. Okay, another scene. We forgot to mention about him. Jorgen, what is happening on the picture?
They are, he's holding a bottle that is attached to a cord,
a rope, a string.
And he will throw it on the boat to celebrate its completion.
It's hard to get from this point of view, but on the right it's a submarine. On the left it's kind of a, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of a crane or something. It's wooden booth that is high, and they are trying to break the bottle of the, I don't know, of the hull. Yeah, bottle of champagne. It's an old tradition. So how we call this ritual? I don't know.
But
Christian, we call it christening the ship.
Christian the ship.
Kind of like baptizing, but we call it christening.
Yeah. And do you remember, Jorgen, what happened? What happened with this bottle?
Yeah, the bottle didn't crash, or so it means bad luck.
Yeah. Everyone who watches this ritual was like, something bad is going to happen. It's a bad luck. It wasn't true, yeah. So a lot of red material. It's very typical for Soviet Union, right? Okay, another slide. Leila, would you please describe this one?
Leila is not here. Leila is not here.
But I can hear her.
What can I say? Wow. It's a kind of harbor, and I can say, first of all, let me talk about the things I can see on the right. An old truck, and the sailors, and maybe fishermen, and the old buildings. I can see the smoke coming out of the chimney. And then it's a submarine one.
Yes, it is.
Okay, they're on the surface, and I can see a kind of bridge. And
The gangplank.
okay, and is it a kind of missile that was attached to ropes?
That's a
Yep.
torpedo. Torpedoes are bigger than you might think.
Mhm.
Wow, it is really big. What are the torpedoes for? They're not going to war, as you told me.
Torpedoes go underwater, and they're
Yeah.
for sinking other submarines
But
or
they're
for
not
surface ships.
fight, right, Teacher Lee?
Huh?
They're on a DT. They're not going to fight with. So why taking the torpedoes?
Submarines are warships, Layla. We build warships for war. These are deadly explosive weapons. This submarine goes out with the expectation that it could be ordered to kill other ships anytime.
Okay.
This is a killer. This is a killer submarine. These aren't toys. We put real weapons on all of our Navy ships all the time.
To live, and they use the torpedoes under the water. It never, just diverts its way, right? It finds its target.
It has sonar, so it
Right.
can listen, and we can also guide it remotely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got propellers. It pushes itself through the water, and it kind of has an autopilot. You send it out, and it'll search for the submarine or for the target. And when it finds the target, it'll lock in and head straight for that target. So it's kind of semi-intelligent.
Semi-intelligent. I love this word. It reminds me of somebody. Okay. Thank you, Ivan. That's all from me.
But our submarines have real nuclear missiles too, Layla. You know that, right?
Right, right. I have learned a lot.
Yeah, this serious business. The Navy is serious business.
a lot of money involved, a lot of labor, a lot of people. Yes, it's.
But Ivan, what I have understood that it is a really difficult job when you think of the Navy officers, captains. Wow.
Well, I think so. You know, actually, it's an interesting point. So, what is the hardest job? What is the hardest work on the earth? Hardest work, in my opinion, if you have a enemy, another human as an enemy, right? Because he's also smart. He's also right. You have a real opponent. It's not like hunting a tiger, right? So it will be the most challenging job, I think, in the world.
You have to be a decision maker, on the spot. It's very difficult for me, Teacher Lee. I can change my mind anytime.
Yeah. Okay, so on the picture, we can see the process of loading the boat. So they always in rush, and you can see people staying close to each other. Why? Because they are passing the goods, like the things, to each other's hands. So it's a faster way to load the submarine. So
I saw, right.
Mhm. So they pass in everything, you know, food, like equipment, medicaments, everything. So, and they need to load the boat, Layla, from, you know, from the small hole, from the
Yeah, yeah.
small door. So there is no help. Like,
But it is in the past, right? Now, a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
new things.
We
I
call
don't
that
know. Mhm.
right. We call that a chain gang because it's like links of a chain. So one
Okay.
person hands it to the next person who hands it to the next person. So the people themselves don't move. They just hand it from person to person like it's going link to link on a chain.
Okay, and there is a lot of mess. We can see this on the picture. So they are loading everything like in the same moment, torpedoes and food and everything. That it was a big mess. That's why they had some accidents during this. Okay, one of these accidents. So doctor, he said something wrong with drugs, and he went there and truck hit him to the death. Okay, do we have Vasans? Vasans is not here. Very hard. Leila, what do you think about this lady? What she's doing?
Nobody mentioned about the boy and the lady, but the expression in his face, she feels sad, and because it's a kind of, yeah, teacher, there could be mom and son, because she's saying goodbye to him. I think he could be going to could be the captain's wife, or I'm not sure.
Are they sent away to a school
No,
away
so,
from the parents, Ivan, or what's going on here?
do you remember the name of the movie Widowmaker? So it's a widow, future widow, I would say. So it's a wife for some officer, and they're farewell moment. So they're before their mission.
Yeah, but that's a kid, right?
Right.
She's losing her kid. It looks like.
No, it's not a kid. He's just it's an officer, right?
Oh,
Because
really?
but he's staying. It's like a point of view that he is looking so small. Look at
Okay.
look at the left. There are two another officers. So
Okay.
they just it's a farewell, like I don't know, moment. They're saying goodbye. We will see in the next year. Or something.
Okay. All right.
But now I understand why you hesitated. Yes, it looks like a strange point of view. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a kid. Yeah.
Look
So
like
it's
my son's going away from me, going to
Yeah.
college, going away to school.
Leila, and why these officers they have families, wives? Is it okay? What do you think? So
Of
this
course.
such a dangerous job.
Any job could be dangerous. You don't know what could happen to me tomorrow. You know, everything can happen.
Mhm.
So,
Well, it's interesting because usually in our military, our soldiers are too young to have wives. So it's
what
usually
age?
like
Uh,
20 or something. But
right.
on submarine, it's another business. You have to be like trained well. That's why the significant part of the crew on submarine are officers, not just soldiers. So they are older, they have families, and it's it's a complication.
Ivan, but nobody forces them to be a Navy officer in a submarine, right? It is their choice.
Right, but somebody
So they
Must
love
do that.
adrenaline, right?
In the old days, it was not a choice, but today it's usually volunteer.
Yeah, for officers it's always volunteers in Soviet Union, as far as I know. So soldiers can be enlisted, but not an officer. Officer can say, "I want to be an officer." So it's impossible to be an officer by force. Okay, another one. Vova, do you know what is happening there?
Mm,
What he's holding?
he's holding the
Small piece of what?
something white.
Something like right. It's I don't know exactly how to call it. It's a clothes or something. So they are, Leila, what they are doing? They are having the morning how sauna or it's all the water they have. So doctor on the right, can you see this white robe? It's a doctor. He's giving him
Yeah.
small piece of clothes.
Cotton?
So cotton, yes, soak it in the
Yeah,
spirit or
could be cotton.
in something liquid there, so they can, make some. How is this watering? I don't
So
know.
they have some water on the cotton and then they squeeze the cotton and have some drops of water.
Yeah, it's a kind of gigi or how we call it. So
Wow.
they don't have this bathroom, so it's their bathroom every morning.
Wow.
You mean they wash with a
Yes,
a
yes.
cotton thing? Wow, a rag. That's pretty bad. We weren't that bad.
Because the submarine was like slow, like inside, so there is no place for bathroom or something. So it was all what they have,
Wow.
Like, can you imagine for years? I wouldn't go there.
I decided not to be a naval officer.
Okay, Gerard, another one. What is happening?
Okay, the captain asked to change the torpedoes, and the former captain had to help because one other soldier was injured. His hand with the chains injured, and the former captain replaced him. They have to change the torpedo. Just a drill. It was a drill, really.
It was another cruel drill. So they were about to recharge some, how we call this usually, room for torpedo, or I don't know, the hole for
torpedo tube.
Yeah. So captain said, we are having a drill. You have to like extract torpedo from tube 1 and put it in tube 2. And when they started this, one of the officers got an injury, so he hurt his arm. And executive officer said, please, let's stop a drill and like recover this guy. He said, in real war, would you ask the same? So just continue. it was what was this. Yeah. So executive officer replaced this officer and they recharged. And it was like all the time. So it was another moment. Okay, it's a room of officers, I guess. Bunk bed. Okay, what is special about this? I don't remember actually. They are sharing some memories, showing some pictures of family.
Picture of the girlfriend,
Girlfriend, right?
The girl we saw before.
Goes on farewell, this farewell scene, right? So Radchenko is saying it's my future wife or something. Okay, and we can see the room of these two officers just now, but it was a room for 4 officers, if I'm right. So 2 on one side and 2 on another side.
Yeah, no, my submarine, we had 3 bunk beds on one side, and it was small, very small.
What is surprising here is that there are a lot of wood furniture. I don't know why.
Yeah, we didn't have that. Yeah.
Seems strange. What about fire or something? It will be.
Looks like a chess set. They had a chess set out. Did you notice it?
Yeah, chess set. It's a Soviet Union. Chess set is mandatory. Okay, Jorgen, what about this one? Where is there?
Yeah, they are taking a photo and are playing football, I think, and it's maybe on Greenland. I don't know.
They in the movie they said it was close to North Pole. I don't know how close it is.
Okay.
In the Arctic. Okay.
In the Arctic, yeah.
Submarines actually can surface under ice. Submarines are extremely heavy. And that conning tower that sticks up is relatively strong. So if you go under the ice and then you make the submarine light, it will float up, and just the weight of the submarine will push up and break the ice, hopefully. Sometimes it doesn't work. Okay.
Teacher, in the movie, they made a special trick. First, they like submerged very deep, and then they made a like speedy floating, very speedy with the help of engine. So they actually like crush the ice.
Okay. Okay. A little forward momentum to smash through the ice. Okay. I never did an under ice surface. So some people did. I was in the Mediterranean. We didn't have ice.
It's better, I guess. It's better.
Yeah.
Jorgen, anything else?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, this ice fig that are leaning against the boat.
Tower, yeah.
What?
You-
What can we
can see-
call?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Well-
what can we call this?
This metal thing is a gunning tower, right? Usually.
That's the conning tower. Yeah.
No, I mean the ice cubes. So just ice cubes, maybe
Just ice fragments.
fragments.
Yeah. If you look to the two men on the conning tower to the left,
Mhm.
that little thing sticking up, that's the periscope.
Yeah.
It's kind of fat, and then it gets skinny, and then the eyepiece gets big again. So when you see something that the end is kind of larger than the part below it, that's usually a periscope.
Mhm. Well, if I had to describe this moment in 2 words, I would say it's the last lucky moment in the movie. So last good moment. After that, everything went wrong. Yeah, smile for the
People
camera.
love to take group pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go forward.
Ivan, one question.
Yes?
What about those two flags?
Okay. So the flag on the right is the Soviet Union flag, and the flag of on the left it's a Navy flag. We have like a special Navy flag in Russia. We still have. So our ship has 2 flags: one Russian flag, another Navy flag. We call it some special name.
I've never seen that USSR flag before. Was that like a national flag?
Well, it's obsolete now. We don't use it because we use Russian flag. But in general, red and a star. Star can be in a different form, but in general, it's USSR flag. So there are many.
I've never seen that flag before in my lifetime. So
Well, exactly this design it's pretty rare, I would say.
okay.
Yes, so it's not surprise. So usually we have a small star somewhere in the corner, and the whole flag is red. It's what we usually have. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I remember. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, Leila, what do you think? What they're doing?
It's a kind of drilling.
There is-
For
there
me,
is-
welding.
Welding, right?
Okay, and the man is wearing a special uniform in order not to be affected by the, lights, and he has to protect his eyes, his face. I'm not sure his hands. Is he wearing a kind of plastic gloves or something like that? I'm not sure.
The hand doesn't look protected, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Okay, why is he welding?
They're building the backup system for cooling down the reactor. So they're melding pipes to each other to move water there.
Everything is made of steel here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly, yes. So they're using these uniforms, these protective costumes. I don't know, but they are not costumes against the radiation. They're just chemical, what we call costumes against the dust and gas and all these things. Yeah, fireproof suits. Yeah.
Against fire.
Yeah.
Or radioactive dust. I'm not sure. Because of their masks with the air tubes, I think these are radioactive dust protection.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So they are making pipe system to deliver water to the reactor core. And it's kind of a continuation. So they made to kind of protect the people. They started to make like small shifts of work. So every guy worked for 5 minutes for welding this. So 5 minutes, and then you replaced by another guy, It's kind of gives you a chance to survive, not to get too much radiation.
Right. The shorter time you're there, the less radiation you get.
Yeah. So that was the idea. Okay, US Navy here. Here it is. Vova, what is on the picture?
The Americans helicopter.
American helicopter, right? American Navy helicopter, right?
You guys need any help? We're okay. Okay.
In the movie, teacher, they were so enthusiastic. Wow, they found us. Hello, and one of them said, "What? Is it Americans or what?" And they all were very disappointing because of this.
I don't see how they could mistake a an American helicopter for a Russian helicopter. They look different. The colors are different. I don't see how they could make that mistake. But,
yeah, it was in the movie, though. Just okay, and the whole crew is on the surface to make what I said, maximum distance from reactor to them. Okay, and Navy and helicopter actually went there and did nothing, just took a photo, and yes, documented everything and fly away. Okay. Vova, who is there on the picture?
The Captain Alexei Vostokov with a doctor.
Yeah, with a paramedic. Yeah, it's my favorite dialogue when he said, "Go there and say everything will be fine," because you know nothing anymore. Okay, and Gerard, do you remember this one?
I think that this was the moment when the Russian politicians thought that the submarine captain and the crew was about to defect.
Actually, it wasn't said like defect, but they said we are facing abnormal activity there. So our submarine is accompanied by American destroyer, and then they go together somewhere.
Is the president of the Soviet Union here or not?
No. It's not his rank. It's just admirals. So
It was a Khrushchev.
at that time, yeah, Khrushchev probably.
Khrushchev.
Yeah.
After Stalin, the one after Stalin.
There were a few after Stalin. I don't remember them all because they all were very old and they usually rule for 1 year or something.
Older than Biden.
we call this period of Russian history, we call gerontocracy, when old people ruled the country and they were in dementia, and nothing good happened. So I can make some historical parallels now, I guess. Okay, so yes, they wear a lot of medals. We like this. Yeah, they use, I don't know, they have a big map on the left, and the circumstances is always dark and heavy.
Now, if you look at their coats, most coats have one row of buttons, right? A single row of buttons. Navy coats, I don't know why, have 2 rows of buttons.
Yep.
We call those coats double-breasted.
Double-breasted. Nice.
So they're wearing double-breasted uniforms.
Just a tradition, I guess, right?
Another thing, in the movie, I saw that they like to drink tea. Was it tea? The captain has a special mug. Yeah,
tea. Russia is a country of tea. Yeah, we drink it a lot. Yeah.
Do you drink coffee? Oh.
Yes, but usually most of the people prefer tea to coffee. So coffee is just 1 cup in the morning mostly. Now it's changing, but most of the time it's tea. So, but it's by default, if you are asking for beverage, you will get a hot tea.
And Americans love coffee instead.
Yeah, yeah. We don't do tea much. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, let me describe it. Oh, Jorgen, would you like to describe this picture?
I think the captain is in chains.
He's handcuffed, right?
Handcuffed.
Handcuffed to this metal ladder, or how we call it, metal pipe. So the captain is on the right, teacher Lee. He is we can see kind of a high-ranked engineer or something, another officer, and a mutiny process, and captain handcuffed to this metal pipe. And they are saying to executive officers, the ship is yours now. Anything else, Jorgen?
What is that to the left? The white.
You mean this device on the left, right?
Yeah, lots of small windows or something like.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's
I can't tell. Yeah.
indicators or switchers or something. I don't know. What is this? What is interesting? Can you see his T-shirt? It's a striped T-shirt. It's a traditional one. I don't know. All the sailors in Russia have these striped T-shirts under their uniform. we have a special name for this. It can be translated like sailor uniform or something like this. Okay, Leila, let me give you some context for this picture. So another Russian submarine came, and they like, what they're doing? Tell us.
I think they are trying to get close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they already did. Can you see these ropes? So they already attached boats together.
Yeah. So are they going to move to another one, or why
Yeah,
they?
this is the evacuation at the end. It looks like.
So their evacuation, right? So what are they going to use for this evacuation? Small boats, or are they going to use the other submarine?
They don't have any ships, so there are only 2 submarines in the ocean. So they will all sit in one submarine. You know?
They've got to sit on top. You can't put 2 crews in one submarine. That's almost impossible.
Yep,
Oh
so
my God.
It will not be comfortable for sure.
Yeah.
But they are dying. Who
Yeah,
thinks it's comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay, can you see this high sink on the right? So on the right there is a damaged submarine. On the left it's a new one who came. On the right, can you see this like a material and 2 sticks? So it's a sink to deliver people who cannot walk by themselves. Right?
Yeah.
How we call it? I don't know.
Oh, a stretcher. A stretcher. A stretcher folded up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and they like undress people, and they make some, I don't know, they wash them to get rid of any excessive dust, radioactive dust. So they trying to clean them, and yeah, that's nothing good.
Cold water.
Cold water. Yeah, very cold. Okay, it's a tribunal. I can read this on the and you can see there is no jury, right? There is only 3 judges and advocate and like the side who is opposite to advocate, usually prokuror. So we advocate for defense.
You have the defendant and the prosecutor.
Prosecute. Okay, so we have judges, we have 2 prosecutors and advocate, and there is a captain Vostrikov on the right, and the one guy who is standing, it's executive officer. He is giving his thoughts. He's giving his facts, right? How we call it? Interrogation. Yeah. Interrogation process. Right. So it's not a public tribunal, it's a military tribunal. They will decide something, but you don't know why. You don't know, you don't know the reason, the facts. Okay, let me ask, whoa, what they are doing? And how they look?
They drank.
They drink?
They drink. They drink something.
Okay.
Mm, mm,
How they are looking? What is the difference?
They old.
They are old, right? It's 20 years after the story. 20 years after they met somewhere. they drink because of ritual of the comrades who left, and on the right it's Captain Ostrikov. Before in the center it's executive officer. Yes, and they say it, Captain, you were right, and all these things. So a happy moment again in the movie. Okay, I guess that's all. We covered the whole story and all the slides. And, we have a lot of vocabulary in our chat. As always, teacher Lee, thank you very much for this. Okay, so...
Thank you.
So, Leila, you are refusing the movies about submarines, am I right?
No, please, don't think of me, I'm enjoying just to join your classes as a listener. I ask questions. Whatever film you want to choose, please. But don't choose vampire films, please.
Okay, what I was about to offer is we have the last one, Das Boot. So we watched one from American side, one from Russian side, and Das Boot is one about submarine, but from German side.
Okay, I will listen, okay?
And after that, we can say, guys, we watched all the movies about submarines in the world, so we are pretty prepared. We are experts here. Okay, thank you very much.
You.
I enjoyed the class as always. Thank you, and see you
Thank
next week.
you, everybody.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Jorgen, it's
Bye,
nice to have you back.
bye.
Nice
Yeah,
to have
thank
you
you. Nice to be here again.
back. Bye.
Goodbye.